Raise your hand if you've ever panicked because you couldn't find your passport before a trip, or maybe you're just sick of carrying around important documents just to prove you're old enough to buy a bottle of wine. We live our entire lives on our phones these days, for better or for worse. Banking, shopping, socialising. But when it comes to proving who we are, we seem to be stuck in the analogue age. We rely on bits of paper and plastic that are easily lost, stolen or faked. Now, this is where digital ID comes in. It's a kind of hot topic issue in the UK just now. The government wants it, businesses want it, but do you want it? Hi everyone, we're One Connect, a social enterprise based in Glasgow. We aim to empower individuals by increasing technology and digital participation. Part of the profits from our organisation go towards running free IT classes and befriending events in the community. In the next few minutes, I'm going to break down exactly what digital ID means for you, what the government is planning, the benefits, the risks, and finally, a couple of tips on how to prepare for this. So let's dive in. Well, what is a digital ID? Simply put, a digital ID is just a digital way to prove you are who you say you are. Think of it like this. Right now, if you go to a bar, you'll hand over your driving licence. The bouncer needs to know you're over 18 after all. But to prove that, you also hand over your full name, your home address, your exact date of birth. That's way too much information just to get a pint. Bouncer doesn't need to know that really. A good digital ID can change that. It's less like a photograph of your passport, more like a secure digital handshake. In theory, it lets you share only the specific fact required. You can prove you're over 18 without revealing your birthday. You can prove your right to work without showing your entire immigration history to the HR manager. It puts you in control of your data minimisation, again, in theory. So what's the plan for all this? Is the UK bringing back mandatory ID cards? Well, technically no, but I mean, if you want to work, then yeah. The government has been clear. Current proposals for digital ID are optional, but when I went onto the House of Commons online library, yeah, the things I do for these videos, it does state that the digital ID will be mandatory for proving a person's right to work in the UK, but voluntary in other cases. Instead of building one giant government super database, which historically doesn't go very well in the UK, they're creating what they call a trust framework. Basically, the government will set strict rules and security standards. Private companies like banks, the post office, tech companies will get accredited to hold your data and create these digital IDs. We're actually already seeing baby steps in this. Think about how you use banking apps to verify transactions, or the NHS app to prove your vaccine status. The goal is to make proving your identity online as easy as using Apple Pay or Google Wallet in a shop. If you want personal help with this kind of thing, head over to the One Connect website. Over there you can discover more expert tips and in-depth tutorials. Do you need help boosting your digital skills or growing your online business? Get in touch with our team for personalised support. Check our website in the description below. So what's the good stuff? Why bother? Well, if it's done right, there can be benefits. Number 1 would be fraud reduction. Physical IDs are surprisingly easy to forge. A cryptographically secure digital ID linked to your biometrics, like Face ID or a fingerprint, is much harder for criminals to fake. This protects you from identity theft. Number 2, convenience. I think a lot of us can get on board with this one. Imagine applying for a mortgage or opening a bank account, starting a new job, but without having to hunt down utility bills or P45s or to have to visit your bank with your passport. A digital ID can make these painful processes instant. And 3, efficiency. It saves businesses and the public sector enormous amounts of money on manual checks, which should mean better, faster services for us. But nothing's perfect. We have to talk about the risks, and they're significant. The biggest worry is privacy. Even if it's quote unquote optional, if every service starts requiring a digital ID to log in, it could create a detailed digital map of your whole life. Critics fear it could lead to a surveillance state where every interaction you do is logged, which honestly doesn't feel too far away already. The next is digital exclusion. What happens to a granny who doesn't have a smartphone? What about people in poverty or with disabilities who struggle to use technology? You can't build a society where you need an expensive phone just to access basic services or to vote. Physical alternatives must remain workable. And thirdly, there's a term that I first heard in video games called feature creep or function creep. So in video games this meant, let's say you're developing a basketball game, then halfway through development you decide to put a kind of open world life simulator in the game as well. So now all of a sudden you've got all this unwanted trash in your simple basketball game, which is now about 1 terabyte big and full of microtransactions. They've put all the resources into the stupid open world and neglecting the basketball. Alright, maybe I'm going a bit off topic here, but my point is, these things are often a slippery slope. Today, digital ID is for buying beer. Tomorrow, is it needed to access healthcare? The week after, is it linked to your smart meter or your protest rights? Once the infrastructure exists, it's very tempting for governments to use it for things we never agreed to. So where does that leave us? Digital ID in the UK is almost certainly coming, but it's a marathon, not a sprint. So here are 3 practical things you can consider right now. Know your right to a manual path. While many employers and landlords push for digital checks because they're faster, the UK's current guidance is designed to prevent digital exclusion that I mentioned before. This means that in most cases, you still have the right to request a manual check of your physical documents, like a passport or birth certificate. If you aren't comfortable using a specific app or provider, don't be afraid to ask, can I just provide my physical documents for manual verification instead? It might take a bit longer, but it's a valid choice. Be picky about providers. When these apps launch, don't just download the first one you see on an advert. Wait to see which providers receive official government accreditation under the trust framework. Stick to names that you already trust with your data, like your bank. And yes, I know we talk about it a lot, but practice digital hygiene. Tighten up your security. A digital ID on an insecure phone is useless. If you haven't already, set up strong, unique passwords and 2-factor authentication on your key accounts, like email and banking. Get your digital house in order now. Digital ID could make life much easier and safer, but we just need to demand that privacy and inclusion are built in from day one, not just tacked on as an afterthought. Get in touch with our team for personalised support. Check our website in the description below. Learn in-demand skills like social media marketing, coding basics and more. Our digital products are full of educational and informative ebooks, website templates, design elements, books and more. Check below for more information. Stay informed, stay skeptical, stay secure and stay safe. Thanks for watching.